Hello, sorry I'm a couple of minutes late. This is Jacqueline with Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie, and I hope you are having a wonderful Friday evening, and thank you if you are joining me. I'm so sorry that I a couple of minutes late. I was just kind of prepping and lost track of time. So this is the image that we're doing tonight, and it is a Sweet Little Darling Besties doll 221224, and it is you can buy it at the My Besties shop. Isn't she adorable? I do have a little strip of paper over her so that to keep her from getting stolen. So sorry, I'm just trying to bring up my messages from my other phone so I can read any comments that you guys have. And I see that we have 2 people on. Oh, 3 people. Hi Fatima, how are you? Yeah, if you say hi, then I know you're on. Otherwise, I don't know you're on. And I'm going to just stick my other little phone over here so I can see any messages. Okay, so we will get coloring. And this is Sweet Little Darling Besties 221224. And it is a digi stamp. And you can get her from My Besties shop. And I am going to go ahead and zoom in just a little bit, and then you won't be able to see. Hi, Sandra. You won't be able to see the shop link once I zoom in a bit. So, but I wanted to zoom in a little bit so that you can see a little bit better as I color. And then I'll zoom back out when I get done so that you can see the link. All right, so let's go ahead and start coloring. And I have the strip, if there's anybody new, the strip across so that she doesn't get stolen, that the image does not get stolen. So I'm going to use my typical colors, E00, E11, and E000, and then my R30 and R20. So these are the colors that I most often use for my besties images when I'm working on them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move this cable. I don't know if you can see it or not. I'll move it out of the way. And if you have any questions, oh, hi Gail, how are you? I loved the card that you made today. I thought that was quite lovely. Or that you posted today. I don't know if you made it today, but it was very lovely. Gail has Stamping with Gail Sue as her Facebook page, and she does amazing. She has amazing lives. I love following her. So if you want to follow somebody else, Gail Sue, Stamping with Gail Sue. She's wonderful. And who else is on? So I give anybody a plug that I love. There is Sharon Noble with the Noble Crafter, and she does wonderful lives. She was just telling me tonight how much she loves doing them. And excuse me. And then there is Dawn with Dawn G Designs, and she does wonderful lives, and she's our team leader with the My Besties. This is My Besties DT project. So those are kind of the people I follow. And then Fatima makes beautiful cards. And she's not on a team and doing lives, but she posts her cards, and they're beautiful. And Stephanie Huntley, I've seen some beautiful cards from Stephanie. All sorts of people that follow along that just are all so creative. And if you ever want to post things on my page, you are more than welcome to post your pictures and the things you're doing. I'm more than happy to have you do that. I like to see what everybody's working on. That would be wonderful. Because I really didn't intend for my page to be like just about me. I really intended it to be a place, like a community page. So please, if you are making cards and things and want to post about your cards and your blog, please go ahead and do that. Alright, I'm leaving a bit of white space. I like my besties to have really pretty rosy cheeks. And I want some definition in her cheeks, so I am bringing some dark into her cheeks before I do the, put her cheek color in. I'm kind of laughing because I just heard a big boom, and one of my kids kind of cried out, so I don't know if you heard it or not. You know, another Friday night. Anyway, pardon the noise. If you hear any noise, pardon the noise. All right, so this is my R20. And I'm doing her cheeks, and I'm coming up a bit around the side because I do like my besties to have, my bestie dolls to have pretty rosy cheeks. And I have, see, I do this all the time. I have 2 different lids on this, so I will have to fix that after our live. Now I'm taking the R30, and I'm just going to soften the edges a bit. Kind of soften the edges just a little bit. Just up here by the eyelashes. Just kind of try to soften it just a tad bit. And then I'm going to go back with my E000 and kind of, see, go over the center of her face. And that kind of softens it a little bit more. And then when I do her hair, of course, that tones down her face a bit too. And sometimes I go back in after I've done the hair. See, very colorful. But after I do her hair, sometimes I go back in and touch up the cheeks a little bit because I feel like they're not very, there's not a lot of definition. See, right now there looks like there's a lot of definition. So that is something I do. I'm just trying to see if I see any messages from anybody. Gail, I'm really sorry I missed your lives. Try to stay awake but fail often. Oh, hi Jackie Looper. How are you? Sharon is in Scotland, so there is a time zone, a big difference in time. Not a time zone difference, but a big difference in time, about 5 hours, which is quite a big difference. So it's late there. Oh, and if you are, if you happen to follow my page, but you haven't liked my page, could you please like my page? Because I have 100 more people following than liking. And I'm trying to get my numbers up, and I am going to have a giveaway when I reach 500 people. And I'm at 301 as of today, 301. So I'm using my grays. I'm going to use W4, W2, W0, and I am going to use a touch of W6 on the soles of the shoes. So I'm just moving my markers a little bit out of the way. And then after I get her shoes done, I will probably go ahead and move my little strip of paper. I started using a strip of paper instead of the washi tape because I tore my image a couple of times during my live, which is not a good feeling. You know, I covered and was able to carry on, but it was not a pleasant feeling. So I'm just using my darker color where I feel that it needs shading. So that's what I'm doing, and I am a bit heavy-handed, so I'm just trying to gently, lightly touch and work on this. And I go back and forth at least 2 times. I feel it gives it a more finished look if you do it 2 to 3 times. So I will kind of go back and forth, although there's not a lot of room to work with the boot. So sometimes if there's not a lot of room to work, see, I'm kind of going over it 2 times as I'm coloring right now. So sometimes you don't realize I've done it twice when I'm doing a small space. And I did print her at 3.5 inches tall. And if you do her height, the width is automatically adjusted. And what I often do is I take out a die. Say that this was a metal die. I will take that out and I will adjust my image. See, if I wanted her to fit inside that die, I would have made her like 2 point, maybe 6 or 7 instead. So sometimes I take my die out and determine what size I want my image. So I'm just kind of telling that as a hint. Oh, a big sale on Besties if you use code JAN55. So JAN55, I'll write that down. I don't know if you can see it or not. So JAN 55 for a sale on Besties. And did you say it was 55% off, Dawn? Here, I'll scoot that over just a little bit. That's a good deal. Wow. Yeah, so if you like my Besties, now's the time to bring that over a little bit more. Now's the time to purchase them. Wow. I might have to head over there myself. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good deal. When there's a sale on Digi Images, that is when I buy my Digi Images. I'll admit it. Digi Images are just like a real bargain, and when they're on sale, they're an even better bargain. Okay, let me bring this over just a little bit more so that people can see the code. There we go. There's a big delay in my camera, or my live, in what I see. So, okay. Now, like I said, I'm kind of, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I'm pretty heavy-handed, so I have to be very careful as I'm doing images that I don't put too much ink. So I'm going to take my W6, which I used on the sole, and I'm just going down very lightly where the eyelets for the shoelaces are at. And I hope I see them correctly. Okay, I'm just going to go in here just a little bit. Just a little bit more. Just ever so lightly to give a little bit more definition. There we go. Back there. Because I think in the back would be a little bit more shading. So I'm just going to go back. And what I often do is go back over my images after the ink dries just a little bit. Because sometimes the ink is pretty wet. Once it dries, then you can see it saturates a little bit, and you see that you need to put another layer. So that is something I do sometimes. There we go. Pretty happy with her boots there. Hope I don't have her out of frame. I say that every year. Every year I fail. I don't know what you fail at. I missed something. Oh, is Sherry on? Hello, Sherry. Good evening. Oh, you're not going to buy any more images. Hi, Christine. How are you? And Belinda, how are you? I'm hoping that I'm not out of frame. If I'm out of frame, somebody holler at me, and I will get back in frame. So I'm going to continue on with her boots, and I am using the W2, W4, and W0, and then a touch of W6. And warm grays, for some reason, are my favorite color. So let's do her other boot here, like this. I'm hoping my images, it kind of comes and goes, the blurriness. I hope it doesn't stay blurry for people. So I'm just going in where I feel like it, you know, it would be a little bit darker, and a little bit up here. I love warm gray. I don't know why. It's kind of, maybe it's the warmth. I don't know. There we go. You know, I made a mistake, and I had said that Dawn was going to Creativation, and it's not Creativation that she was going to. She's going to another one, a different type of crafting event in, I think it's September, she said. So if I told anybody that, I'm sorry. On my last live, I think I was talking about that, and I said she was going, and I had the two events mixed up. So I do apologize. I would love to go to a crafting event, but I teach during the day, and we have no sick days, or not sick days, personal days. We have no sick days either, but no personal days, so I can't do things like that. And I so would love to go. And I can't retire for many more years, if ever. So kind of stuck. All right, so I'm just kind of going back and forth with my grays, with my W4, W2, W0, and a touch of the W6. So I'm just going back and forth, trying to create some definition in the boots and make it look rounded. And then I'm taking my darker color and worked on the sole a bit. And I'm going to go over here and lightly touch the shoelace. And this paper is Sweet Sentiment paper. So it has a little bit of a shiny surface to it, and kind of an off-white, kind of a cream. So I think it complements the face so much. So that's why I like using it. I just think I don't know, I think it's pretty. Okay, so let me see if there's any other little questions or anything. I'm trying to catch it. Hi, Melissa. How are you? All right, so I am going to do, I think I'll do her little skirt next. And so for that, I am using R14, R24, and R27. So it's R27, R24, and R14. And that is going to be for her skirt. And red is a tough color to work with. I find it bleeds a bit, so you got to be very light-handed. And so I'm going to try to be light-handed. And so I'm holding it down, see, lower. That's what I'm trying, I'm attempting, so I can try to be a bit light-handed here. And I'm sort of talking to myself because I'm concentrating, which is a really bad habit. My students laugh at me quite a bit. Sometimes my students watch my lives. I don't know if any of them are on tonight. I have a student named Pugnell, and he often watches. And then I have a couple of my students like Miu and Sarah. They sometimes watch. So if they're on tonight, hello and welcome. I don't know if they're watching or not. So, oh, and if anybody, like I said, if anybody at all follows my page, Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie, and has not liked my page, could you like my page? Because I am trying to get my numbers up, and I am having a giveaway when I reach 500. I need 199, is that right? 199 more people? And I am giving away a small set of Spectrum Noir markers. So if you are following but haven't liked my page, please like my page. And if you're new and you like lives, please like my page. I'd really appreciate it. And like I said, we have several people that do lives. And there's Dawn G Designs, and there's Stamping with Gail Sue. And there's the Noble Crafter. So there's several of us that do lives, and it's kind of fun. We get together and just sort of talk, and people know way too much about my family life, and I guess I'm an open book. So it's kind of, and we get to know each other's things about each other, you know, meet each other's children sometimes, and you know, just talk about things. So lives can be quite fun. It's a nice community. So, and if anybody has any questions at all, feel free to ask them. And either myself or somebody watching will offer an answer or solution if you have any crafting questions. That's the best thing about crafters, is that we all share advice all the time. That's really how I got involved with crafting, is I felt like it was a nice community. Actually, I wanted to make a card for someone, and you know, like $2,000 later, I finally had enough crafting supplies to make that card, I guess. That's what I always tell everybody. That's the most expensive hobby there is. Okay, I'm just going back and forth. I'm working the colors, the R27, the R24, and the R14, and I'm going back and forth with the colors, and I'm putting on at least 2 to 3 layers to try to give some definition and make the skirt look a little bit rounded, and try to get the pleats and folds to look nice. I made my image a little smaller than I normally do, so I don't have quite as much workspace, you know, but I think I wanted her to fit on my card as I showed you a minute ago. So there's her skirt, and I'm going to take this R46, which is strong red, and I'm just going to do, and I'm taking both ends off because these are pressurized, and sometimes they, you know, you can get a big blob, and you don't want that. So I'm trying to avoid that. So I'm just doing her hearts right here in this strong red. And then what I do, I'll let that kind of dry, and then I will probably go over it just a little bit more, give it a little bit more definition. All right, and the code for the sale on the My Besties shop, so this is a My Besties shop, I don't know if you can see that or not. My Besties shop, and the code is January 55 if you want to try to catch the sale. So there we go. All right, so let's now do, I think I'm going to do her bow next. Or no, you know what? I'm going to do her hair next. And her hair, for me, was a slight bit challenging because, see, she has all these pretty little hearts. And so I'm going to work around that, and I might have to kind of turn her because of these little hearts. And I know that makes people dizzy. Oh, I'm sorry. I am using E71, E74, and E77 for her hair. And I am starting with the lighter color. Some people start with the darker color. When I do hair, I actually start with the lighter color. And everybody does it differently, and that's okay. It's fine. You do what works for you. So I am doing the lighter color, and I do the lighter color so I can kind of see where I need to color, and since I have these hearts, I'm trying to avoid getting into the hearts. So where I see I want darker color is where I'm putting my lighter color. I know that probably doesn't make sense, but it's just what works for me. So, and I'm doing flicking movements. See, when I'm not talking, you can kind of hear. I'm just going to go in close to where the heart's at. I'm hoping that I don't cover up my little hearts. If I cover up my little hearts, don't worry. We will bring them back out. Okay. Let's see. Down here. A little bit more there. Hair is something that takes a little bit more time. So don't feel you have to rush it. Okay, so that was my E71. So now I'm going with my E74. And I'm just going to... So I'm not going quite as far with it. And I'm following the artist, which is Sherry Baldy. I'm following where she already has the hair lined out, the strands. And actually her images, some people, they don't put strands of hair in their images, but Sherry Baldy does, which is actually quite, makes it easier to make the hair look nice. You know, so I'm thankful that she takes the time to do that when she's drawing her images. And My Besties by Sherry Baldy, they're beautiful. Very cute and whimsical. And there's, I don't know how many there are, hundreds of them. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with my darkest color, the E77, and taking both ends off again, and I'm just kind of flicking it just lightly. And a little bit here. And then going around. She has a lot of detail in her hair, so I'm trying to not cover up any of the pretty little pieces of ribbon and hearts. Alright, so I'm going to go back with the E71, and I'm just going to try to flick it. It's hard to flick around the hearts. There we go. So just going like that. And like that. Right there. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I know I'm not doing a good job of reading my messages at the moment. I apologize that. But there's a lot of people watching, and there's several of us, many of us that we follow along with each other's lives, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. We try to help each other out when we're doing lives. So if you do have any questions, feel free. And again, my page is Creative Paper Crafting by Jackie. And I would love it if you would like my page and help me grow my numbers. And I'm giving away a nice little set of markers when I reach 199 more people. And I appreciate all the people that have liked my page so far. Alright. Now normally there's more room to work with the flicking. Yep. You hear my little one? She sounds like she's a little mad. She is 19 months, but she'll be 20 months on the 24th, so soon she'll be 20 months. And time just goes by so quick. And I have a 19-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I took the 19-year-old. He's still in high school. He's got just a short time more. I took him today to get a new driver's license. So I just think it's so funny to have this big age difference. There we go. All right. Now, not quite a lot of room to work with her hair, like I said. So I'm going to take the E77 and just try to lightly, see, just very lightly, try to add some strands back in so it's not quite so flat. And that way the highlights show up a little bit. And I'm just following the pattern that Sherry Baldy already has put into the hair. And I'm just doing this very, very lightly. All right. There we go. So that is her hair. And now I am going to, I actually see a place I don't quite like in her hair. So I'm going to go back over it just a little bit with my E74. See, you can go over your images as many times as you want till you are happy. So I just felt like this is just too harsh of a line right there, and I didn't like that. So I'm just kind of going back in. So there we go. Now I'm going to take my gel pen or jelly roll, and this is 08, and I'm not going to use my jelly pen there. I apologize. I'm not using my jelly pen there. I am going to use the R46, which is the same color I did her heart right here. And now that this is dried just a little bit, I'm going in. I'm just going to go in, and I did it on only one side because I want to give it a little bit of shadowing. So I'm going to go in and do her hearts in her hair. And like I said, red is kind of a tough color. So I'm trying to do it very lightly, hoping I'm doing it okay. And I'm going to go up here. I love, it's kind of funny because I'm not a mushy, sentimental kind of person. but yet I love Valentine images. I don't know why. Like my friends love to read, you know, like love stories and go to love story type romance movies, and I'm not into all that. I have some friends that, you know, soulmates and stuff, and it's just not me. I'm just not, I guess I don't have that romantic side, but yet I love Valentine images, and I love images with the dolls and the little girls and the little boys, and so I love all the cutesy romantic images, but I don't like the mushy, you know, like if someone gives me a card, I don't want a mushy card. So it's kind of funny, I think. Alright, so I'm going to go back in here just a little bit, see around where the heart's at. Just kind of try to touch up the hair just a little bit. I don't want to mess it up. Just a little bit. There we go. And you can go back into your image as many times as you want. You know, you don't have to think, okay, I've done it once or twice and now I'm done. You don't have to think that. Okay, so now we're going to do her waistcoat right here. Oh, you know what? Let's do her skin. Let's do her skin. I forgot. So I'm just taking my E00 and I'm lightly going over her skin. And then we'll do her shoulders. And these are her little hands. Like so. There we go. And I'm just, see it catch up on any of the messages. Oh, hello Angela, how are you? And if I didn't say your name, I'm sorry. I am really bad about being able to follow along with my messages or comments. I'm a little, I have a little hard time doing that. Hi Carmen. Yeah, I'm not really good at following along with my comments. I try, I really try, but I get lost in my coloring and I kind of forget. So I'm just doing her shoulders and kind of coming down lightly along the sides of her arms, and we will pull the color out, and then over here where her arms are kind of folded, kind of overlapping each other. So I'm going to take my E01 and try to just kind of pull that color out just a little bit and very lightly do it. Her arms are thin, like I wish mine were, and are not. You know, I teach international students, and the very first day of class, I've already told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again anyway. One of them told me that, you know, they hadn't seen me since the summer, and they told me that I had got a little bit fat over the summer. Little bit fat. So, they were right. And then over the school year, I've gotten a little bit fatter. So I got to try to get this under control. So there's no skinny arms here, but I sure wish I did. Alright, so I am going to go back with my E11 again, and I'm just going to, right here where she's kind of got the top of her heart, where her neck is, where her shoulders are, just kind of right in here, her elbow, places you think it should be just a little, you know, a little bit darker, her thumb, and then back with my E000. And this paper doesn't take a lot of ink to get your color, because this is a really pretty paper that is off-white, so it really takes color nicely. I really like using it. There we go. Okay, now let's do her waistcoat. And I am going to do this in a lighter color. So I'm going to actually take my R30 and my R20 and do this little bit of waistcoat, and there's not a lot to work with there. So I'm going to take my take my R20, and I'm going to do right here, see where there's the material's kind of folded over, do right there. And again, there's hearts here, So I'm going to try to be careful. And if we color over them, it's okay. Because I'm going to actually use my gel pen on those. So when you have a small space, sometimes you can't help but color over, and that's okay. And if you do, there's things you can do. Actually, I'm not going to put my lid back on because I'm going to go over that again. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm taking my lighter pink. I'm just kind of, like pulling it out, pulling the color kind of out. And there. Actually, I feel like I've done a pretty good job not covering up my hearts. Then I'm going to take this one and do this little fold back here again. And see how when you put a second layer of color, that's when you're building up your layers, and that gives it much more definition. So there we go. And then I'm going to take this one. See, I'm just working back and forth, just very lightly. Kind of lightly. Okay. And then I am actually going to, oh, let's see, not doing that one right. There we go. I'm going to take this one again, right here in the corners, and up. See, just a real light touch. Just very light, just like so. All right. And then I'm going to take this gel pen that I have, which is Jelly Roll 08, and I'm just doing the hearts. I wanted the hearts to match the hearts up here. This is about as close as I could get with a jelly pen. And they're very small, so I couldn't get a lot of definition with my markers. And then see, she's got buttons, so I'm just coming down and I'm doing the buttons with my Jelly Roll. Now sometimes I use my pencils when I have small, my Prismacolor pencils, when I have small spaces. So there we go. And then I see I forgot the skin right here. You guys are just gonna like let me forget that. And then I'm going back in and get this little piece of her boot right here, the inside of her boot. There we go, which we would want a little bit darker. And this is what I generally do. I go back and forth as I see places that need a little bit more color. Okay, let's see. Just trying to see if there's any. Hi, Victoria. Seeing if there's any comments, any questions. All right, so for her bow, see, she has teeny tiny hearts, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this Jelly Roll. So I'm going to go ahead and color in her bow, and I'm matching it to her waistcoat. And I'm using just two colors. I'm using the R30 and the R20. Sometimes, though her bow is big, sometimes I just use two colors. So if you're wondering why I'm doing that, and you just go back and forth over with it. So I'm going to take my R20, and I'm just going to go right in here with Sherry Baldy. She's the artist, where she's already made some beautiful lines. So I'm just going to use the lines that she's already created to do my shading. So I'm just kind of following along. You know, when the artist has already done some of that work for you, then you don't have to do it. There we go. And just going around. Now these two colors, there's not a lot of difference, but I'm going to do use my glitter pen over the top. So I'm going to put another layer over this anyway. So I'm just going to lightly, and I am covering over my hearts. It's okay, because I'm going to be doing a couple of things with them. I'm just kind of lightly, and I'm pushing towards. Instead of pulling my color out, I'm pushing towards it. I'm doing that on purpose. Oh, there we go. And I'm going back in again. Do this a couple times. See, when you layer, see, automatically, it just, the more color you put on it, the more definition it has. So don't be afraid to go over your images 2 and 3, 4 times, whatever you need. There we go. And then we're going to put together a fun Valentine's card. And this one, I think I might give to my, might give it to my little one's teacher. That's what I was thinking. At Head Start. I thought I might do that because she works so hard. So I'm just lightly, and see, I'm holding my marker down sort of in the middle of the barrel because I just want to do kind of lightly, see, lightly and lightly right in here, just right in here. I'm not trying, I don't want it to look solid. There we go. Like that. There we go. And then we're going to do her eyes, and I am using B18 and a B91 for her eyes. Uh-oh. I don't know if you saw that. See how my marker, it just bled. See? So I'm going to, see how it did? I'm going to, yeah, I hope it'll be okay, because I don't want a big blob. I don't know why my markers, this is like the second time. Yeah, see, it's starting to blob. I haven't refilled these, so I don't know. I had a little heater running, and I don't know if it's because my room is generally cold, and then the heater warmed it up. I don't know, but that's why I take both ends off, so that they're pressurized, and that helps prevent blobs. However, see, it did have blobs, so want to be careful. When I do the blue eyes, I like to have the dark on the sides, and then I like to bring it down with a lighter color. And then I go over it a couple of times because I don't like hard lines. Everybody's coloring is different, and I don't like there to be a hard line of demarcation. I like it to look a little bit smoother. And then I take my white jelly pen, and I just go in here to highlight. And highlight. And this is actually not white, but glittery. My white one exploded. Here's another white one. And it was brand new, and it exploded. And so now it won't come out. So I'm just going over where the whites of her eyes, right in here, like so. Okay. So now we're going to do this other heart. Oh, I know. We're going to do this too, but in a moment. But let's go ahead and do this heart. And I'm going to use my darker red that I have, my R49, and I'm going to try to be very careful. I'm just going to go over it right in here, around here, then over here, and right in here, kind of down. And then I'm going to take my lighter one, my R24, and I'm going to pull this down. There we go. Pull, and we're going to do this a couple of times. I'm trying to do it lightly. Oh, I love Fridays. I love the start of the weekend. Although I have a lot of work to do this weekend around the house. Cleaning some carpets and things. I'd love to be able to just sit and color all the time. Wouldn't that be a phenomenal job? There we go. Okay, so let's go in and do the little hearts on her bow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and then you can see the name of the shop. And there we go. So things are in frame a little bit better. I don't have to be quite so close up. So I'm going to do the hearts with the jelly roll. Well, actually, I'm not going to do those yet. I'm doing that afterwards. I had experimented and I wanted to do it afterwards. So oh, here we go. I'm going to use my sparkle pen. I don't know what color it is. Oh, it's Solar Red. Solar Red. I'm actually going to use this right here over the top of her bow. And so where you've done shading, it'll actually show through on this. So I'm going to try to pull it through, and then we're going to do the hearts after it dries. If you do the hearts before it dries, it just pulls the ink and you can't see the definition. It just becomes part of the sparkle. So you got to do it after it dries. There you go. I'm just kind of pulling this. I like to have a little sparkle on my cards. And right over here. There we go. Okay. A little bit more over here. All right. Trying to be careful. Then I'm going to put a little bit more. So see where you have shaded at, it becomes darker. And then as it dries, you'll see that the shading's still there. There you go. And then, oh, you know what? I missed. I don't know if you noticed that. I missed the back of her headband. So let's go in here. Let's get the back. It's okay. I missed that headband back there. Let's go back in. I often find when I'm doing a live, I don't know why, I miss little places and I have to go back in. I think because I get to talking. Alright, so we're just going to do, then I'm going to look at it for a minute to make sure I haven't missed any other places. I would run my little, you know, hand heater, but I don't want the noise during the live. Oh, the company that makes this marker here is, this is a Spectrum Noir, Crafter's Companion. This one's Crafter's Companion. This it's just like a sparkle pen, and it's Crafter's Companion, and it's the same type of ink. Remember, because Fatima, I think, was on my live that I did before. It's the same kind of ink that's in these little tubs, but it's in a pen. So it's a sparkle ink, and it dries really nice. So I like using it. All right, so after it dries, we're going to go in and use this pen to work on the hearts a little bit. So here's this image, and we're going to start assembling the card, and then I'll go back in after it's dried just a little bit and do the hearts. So here is our image, and I don't really normally do a white edge around, but she had a lot of pretty little stray hairs and I didn't want to lose that, but that's not my typical style. Okay, so we're going to assemble the card, and we're going to just set her aside just for a moment so she can dry. It dries very quickly. And this is a 6x6 card that I am doing, and this is actually Echo Park paper right here. But Sherry Baldy actually has some beautiful paper that you can, digipaper that you can download, or paper that you can order. It's just that I do not have the best color printer, so I'm not able to do a lot of digipapers with a lot of pretty colors in it. Otherwise, I would have just used the pretty paper that comes with these images. I think that Dawn has printed some papers, and they're beautiful, just beautiful. All right, so this is a 6x6, and I'm just putting red on the back because I like to have a matte, and so this is going to be my paper that I put over the top, but I want to use these sentiments. Happy days are here and you are the best. And my idea was to use a brad. And so I want to go ahead and put the brad on now before I do all my layering. And I have my brad. This happens to me quite often. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I have a little heart brad. And I'm just going to put these together. I just kind of thought it would be pretty. So you're going to see how klutzy I am now. Because, okay, so I have that here. And I have to line it up. And I don't want to use this one because it's too, the hole is going to be too thick. Let's see if I can do this right. Trying to line it up. There we go. Trying to line it up. Okay. I'm getting a little bit better. I'm going to squeeze it together. I was trying to line it up with this hole here. So then you put your brad in, and then you just, like this. And you got to adjust it so that it doesn't stick out. There we go. So there we have our brad. And somebody had put on my Facebook, how do you use a brad? And that is how you use a brad. So this is fun foam that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use it on the back here because it is really relatively cheap. You can get it in the children's section at the craft store. And that way I can just cut out a big piece. Gives it, pops it up nicely. So that's what I'm using it for. So I'm just going to pop it on. And see, you can use a bigger piece this way. You don't have to use all your dimensionals. And I still put a little bit of glue. I don't want my cards to fall apart. So I put glue. There we go. So we're going to just turn this around and try to kind of center it. There we go. So, okay, let me see how she's doing. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish her. So what I'm going to do is go in here to see and define these little hearts a little bit more. And this step is probably unnecessary, but I thought it made it pop just a little bit more to have them be a little bit redder. There we go. See? But if you do this before you put the sparkle on, this ink just blends in with the sparkle. So there we go. And there's actually little hearts down here. So it's kind of nice to get those too. Alright. I think I got them all. You can go over them more than once. There we go. Okay. So see, it just makes it kind of pop a little bit more. So I like that. Okay, so we'll get back to our card. And again, hope you can see this. It's My Bestie Shop, Sweet Little Darling Besties doll. And my page is Creative Paper Crafting with Jackie. So then I took the coordinating papers, and I am going to put this right here. And see, you can move these around. That's what I love about brads. You can kind of move your sentiments around. So I'm going to just move them out of the way. We're going to put this right here. And this is art glitter glue, if anybody wonders what kind of glue I'm using. I like it because, see, it's very thin. And you can reposition your image because it's not completely dry yet. So I like using it. So I'm just centering this. There we go. And I picked, I should have said this from the get-go, her color is based on my paper color. Okay, so then I'm going to put this right here. I think this is a pretty little doily. And I'm making this a little bit flatter. So I'm centering this too, because I'm going to pop her up. I thought I'd pop her up here just a little bit. So now I'm going to use my dimensionals. Let me pull this out. And I just get these. They're just from like the doll. We have what's called a Dollar Tree here. I don't know if you guys have that or not. I live in a really rural area, so we're lucky to have anything. But I'll tell you, we're all so excited here. We are getting, they're almost done building it, a Hobby Lobby. I cannot believe it. we're all wondering, are they going to stay in business? Because this is such a rural area. It's a farming community, and I teach at the local college, but it is a farming community. Here we go. If you eat watermelon and you buy it from Kroger, it probably comes from this area, because we grow watermelon here for Kroger's and Walmarts all over the country. So see, this is why I like the brads. So here we go. And then I do have, I thought about adding this. See, like right there. So I was going to ask you guys' opinion, if I should do that or not. Hi, is it Treva? That's a beautiful name, Treva. I love that. So should I add this heart and key? What do you think? Maybe the key and heart like that. That's what I was thinking. I thought I kind of like that. So the first one, oh yes, then I'm doing it. Thank you, Sandra. See, I knew I could rely on Sandra to give me the right answer. So let's put the heart and key, and I just did this on my Scan and Cut. I cut that out on my Scan and Cut, which is a fabulous machine. Here we go. And there we go. All right, so this is my card. And I think I will give it to the teacher, the early Head Start teacher. I think she might like that, from Kyra. So there we go. And you don't have to go out and buy Copic markers. You can use whatever markers you have. Alcohol markers all work great. So you use what you have. And whatever paper you have. Just be as creative as you want. So I'm so glad you guys joined me tonight. And oh, look at all those hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you, Gail. Oh yes, you have got to run. My class is about to start. Oh, good luck, Gail. Good luck. And thank you everybody for joining me tonight. I do have a live at 1 o'clock on Sunday, and I'm doing a different image, different company image, but this is my besties. So please, I hope you will like my page and join me for my next live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. And we just hang out. We're just doing this for fun. We're just hanging out. That's why we do it. We love it. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.